Hey, how's it going? A wonderful Friday evening. Uh, Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Sup, sup, sup. Got attentions, baby. Yes, baby. Hey, Tim. What's up? Hey, Nat. Hope you're doing better. I do my best. I do my best. I do my best. I can recommend going for Christmas shopping. That is really, at least in Berlin, it's crazy enough. You definitely get distracted. 100%. Ay, ay, ay. Ah. Oh. Okay. I hope you all doing good. See, we're getting more people in. So I hope we fixed that delay thing from last time. That would be nice. It was quite annoying last time. Oh, you're getting summer. I'm so jealous. Sun and like that's so good for, just so good for you. That's just so good for you. Do you think it's weird? I mean, in Berlin it's just gray and cold, so I'd rather be in sun, to be honest. I'd rather be in sun. I'm so shaky today. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Not really feeling it, but we don't think about it. Oh, sorry, I didn't put on the all of the menu fix. Sorry. Beachwear at Christmas, yeah, why not? When did you had last time Christmas in cold weather? Last year? Or do you go every year to Brazil? Bitch, my life is great. Yeah, down to the streets. Yeah. So if everyone has a question, same game as normal. Don't hesitate. Please don't ask me about the pen. I hate drawing fingers. I'm like AI, which draws 6 fingers. I think that maybe somebody invented AI who was the same as you. It's kind of like the language of the person who made the AI. But fingers are really easy. You just have to reach the there's kind of like this invisible number of hands and fingers you have to draw until you get it. I think it's around about 50, if you ask me. If you try to draw like hands like this, like 50 of these on that. I was just waiting for that. I just ignore this. That's great. Yeah, diamonds to the kings. Yeah. Just train your pen. Yeah. So Ned, how big is your family over there? Like how many people will be there? Birthday and Christmas, yeah, we have that every year. We have a lot of people in the family who have this, so mostly children, but I know what you're talking about. Living in the fast lane, moving up to speed up. I just draw over this biceps, I think. Doesn't look good anyways. Into the sky. I need to say, for the past 6-7 days, I barely drew. I was like so oversaturated with drawing. Probably I just drew so much, I really didn't want to draw. So I just didn't. Just did the most little things. So it's kind of good we have our Friday stream. How to understand bending and folding forms in clothes. Don't tell me to draw them a lot. Well, you have to draw them a lot. No. Usually they folds or like clothing bending is always at pinching points and also on, what is the English word for it? Technically where, it sounds stupid, but where the form is bending, so to speak. So you always have like a starting point where you have where the tension is coming from, you know? So and point where it's pulling from. And then usually it goes to another pulling point. You have always two. And then if you have clothing, which is a little bit bigger, you know, then you have these like bigger folds. And in most cases, when you draw them a lot, you see that these areas are always the same. So if somebody puts like his leg back, you know, and then you just know that this is going backwards, and you just know that, okay, there's this is pulling in this direction, this is pulling outwards. So it's more like it's really like a repetition thing and an experience thing. I know it probably doesn't help you much, but it's really, unfortunately, there is no magical answer to this. It's really just experience through practice and just doing it multiple times. The same with faces, I think, because I teach many people and I can give them all the knowledge I have, but they still have to go through the repetitions in order to be able to draw it. You know, so that's the same problem with YouTube, you know. And that maybe sounds not good for me as someone who makes education content, but most of the education content is just information, but it doesn't bring you much if you not apply that. So and most YouTubers, they sell the feeling of you learned something, but actually you did not. You just get the feeling of you did learn something. You can see that by people who are technically just rephrasing information from somewhere else and making content out of it. And it works because they can communicate it well. Hey Bono, thanks for the YouTube sub. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Hope you had a really good day. I hope you're not involved into too much Christmas shopping. You're like a star. 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 How to find that point? Usually it's on edges. So the moment where form is turning or when edges and then gravitation works in. So if, let's say you have, can you see this? Yes. So let's pretend we have a box here. Let's say we push for the perspective a bit stronger. So we are below the box, to emphasize this example a bit more. So now let's imagine we have a big blanket and it's straight up, like in 3D when you build your own collisions. But yeah, that's off topic, my bad. So let's say this is a big piece of cloth, right? Now when we let this fall on these edges here on the box, there will be the tension points, which means this is the moment where the cloth is passing that corner and gravitation is working on it. So it pulls it up, pulls it down. So at the end, sorry, did I draw so small? But at the end, we're going to have these tension points here. You see maybe a little bit of the box still. This is in shadow. And then this is pulling. And that's the same for example, like if you have a t-shirt or if you have any type of like shirt or whatever, it's always here under the armpits, in the front, in the back. It's also when you have somebody bending forward, you have the point where the shirt is, for example, if it's in a pants, you know, it has a lot to do with the observation of yours while you're doing it. But this is always the same. It's really always the same. That's why you need to draw it a lot. That's why probably also everyone you ask so far is saying that. I'm sorry, but it's just the case. There's no way around repetition. But you can make this fun, you know, draw some characters with clothing, you know, draw some cool story, or draw, I don't know, a comic where it's about a clothing. Like, make the practice fun for you. Like, no one is saying you have to fully do just boring clothing studies. If it's too boring for you, then switch it up, do something else. I mean, this is literally the same for me here. I'm just randomly doodling, but I'm also at the time kind of like practicing at the same time, you know. So it's just make it fun for you, you know. Draw what you want. Let me just write here gravity. Gravity. Yep. I hope this kind of like answers your question. Sometimes you have even like smaller faults on sewing lines. But I also want to say that biggest problem I see from students who try to draw clothing, what they do, they give too much distance between the clothing and the anatomy. So if we have, I don't know, if we have an arm, Is that too small? No, okay. If we have an arm, okay, and let's cut the hand off here. So we just see the arm. And they put clothing on top. What they do is they give too much distance here. So let's say they give him a shirt or something. So they create too much distance on both sides. You see? So there's like too much distance here and too much distance here. And this makes the clothing look like it's more like a costume. But just if you think logically, whenever you go buying clothing, you try to buy clothing that fit. So in the example here, it's relatively close to the arm on this side, and it has a very strong overlap on this side. So that's how it works, and also this person is moving. But if you would do that on both sides, then there would be first no gravitation attached, but also there's too much, it's too much cloth, so to speak. So that is really a problem. This here. So it needs to fit. I know someone that practiced how different clothing looked on boobs. Well, it worked. Okay. Thank you for that valuable information, Nat. Oh, we got more people in here. Welcome, everyone. If you have a question, just feel free to ask. Don't be afraid. I'm answering every question. And I hope you all have a good day. And if you don't want to ask a question, it's also fine. You can just chill and draw. No. Just no. Hey Bert. Bert Amile. Wow, your name is... Hey Bert. Let me just say Bert, okay? Hey Bert, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, how are you doing? Art's brother doing? I don't know. Who is his brother? No, definitely not me. 100% not. We don't even look close. Hey, draw with me. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Thanks for saying hi. Huge fan of your work. Appreciate it. Your artwork inspires me. Appreciate it as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words. YouTube art bros, are we? I never met him, so I don't know. You want to know why? Why? Yeah, tell me why. Relatively new to the channel, started drawing again after a big hiatus, and I personally find your work really inspirational. Thank you so much. You folks are really nice. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. You know, I need to say, I don't know, like for the past 6 days, I didn't feel like drawing at all. Probably because I just drew so much over the past weeks. And all I've done in that time was just doing student feedback, my mentorship calls, did my 1 hour of drawing every day. And after every hour, I was just like so oversaturated with it. I just I don't know, I just read a book or read something, played some games or something, you know, like completely off topic stuff. So whenever everyone says that, like I'm really happy about this comment, because sometimes it's a weird, you know, you draw stuff, you post it out there, and it feels a little bit like a void because it's so distant from people. But yeah. What? BC? Sam Does Art is your art uncle, therefore you are drum roll. What? Where's that coming from, that? You're confusing me. read again. Think Sam does art is your uncle, therefore you are what, his nephew or what? I think it's an in joke with Sam's community. Also BC short for because. If Sam does art is your art uncle and you're his brother, that makes you our... okay. I'm sorry. Hey, I don't know if my brain is too fried for this today, but I really appreciate the effort, whatever you try to do. I don't get it. Sorry. Like he's my brother. I'm really sorry if I fail. What makes you our... Do you just want me to give the community... Okay, anyways. Curious to know, how often do you use reference for your drawings? Almost every day, I would say. Yeah, just say it, Nat. Almost every day. And yeah, it's also necessary because it's important to fill my visual library, to fill my memory, to get patterns in, like this stuff here. And yeah, whenever I feel like I want to improve, then I look at references as well. And also, like, even for inspiration topics, like if I don't know what to draw, I need to look at references. Absolutely. Like, why not? How about you? Our art daddy? No, I'm not your art daddy. And please cut this out of out of the repertoire, please. Hey Rafa, how's it going? How are you doing? I'm doing okay. How are you? What do you think of gesture drawing? In Tom Fox's book, his method for drawing people doesn't use it, yet he still gets dynamic poses. How important do you think gesture drawing is for figure drawing? I think the gesture is very important, and it's not important only for figure, but for everything else you do. Even if you draw a composition of an environment with a tree, with certain subjects in, because gesture is something that got invented by people who didn't have cameras, people who only had a pen and paper. And it was the only way to capture things relatively quick, because most people studied humans in the past and people were constantly moving. They never stand still. So they invented gesture to simplify. And the simplification of something is really good because you focus only on the essence. And the more you get into drawing and also into the process of drawing, you will realize that whenever you draw something with a strong gesture and you try to refine it, it will has the tendency to get a bit stiffer or to get less flowy. So in my opinion, the gesture is very important because we want to push everything as loose and flowy as we can, with knowing that later on it might get a bit more stiff. So I believe, and that's also the way I teach. Like I always teach a gesture. Gesture is super important. And if I also just think about design, for example, right? First baby steps of design is learning how to make shapes. And there are different ways of making shapes, addition and subtraction method, but also the other one is using gesture. And if you don't know how to make a good gesture, your shapes will look pretty shitty. But I also want to say I never read Tom Fox's book. It looked like a lot of simplification, and it's probably a good... I've heard a lot of people talking about it, so probably there must be some good stuff in it. But again, I can't really tell because I've never read it. You're just going to cry in Boris' lap because our daddy doesn't want us again. Oh my god. Hey, it didn't took 40 minutes to get into that direction for the stream. But this is why you're here. This is why we need you on StreamNet. I used to post my work on Facebook with only my close circle seeing it. And they started commenting that it was gloomy to them, and I got discouraged for so long. Gloomy. Can you specify what you mean with gloomy? I know what gloomy means. But could you elaborate a little bit on what they intended to say? But regardless of what they say about your work, this will happen to you probably again and again in your life, Bert. The thing is, and this is something we all have to learn, is to not get discouraged. It's really that. And also, what is a tough pill to swallow is, for example, to not produce work for other people. Because that is something you might not get out of so fast. Especially if you look for your own style and the only things that you like doing. Because then you kind of like, you put yourself into a box in a way. So we don't want to make work for the recognition of others, you know? Maybe we create with an intention to have good skill, and we want to say like somebody, hey, your drawing looks really good, you know, like, and people will admire that. If you know what you can do, like nobody can take it away, like no words can say that. But when it comes to the topic, it's also up to you, you know, because some people like apples, some people like bananas, like there's always a different way. And my old football coach used to say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, you know? So that is really true, unfortunately, this DNA. Unless you ask for feedback, right? If you ask for feedback, you have to be ready that somebody might say something that you maybe don't want to hear. But then why asking for feedback, right? I did a lot of gesture drawing. When I took life drawing observation class, it's super helpful regardless style and medium. Yes, absolutely, I agree. You cry harder? No, you don't. Just don't cry. Keep in mind how sequel films that try to please the existing fan base usually aren't that good. Same with your art. Make it for you from the heart. Yes, absolutely. True that. Oh no. Any advice from a master in the subject life is too short to make your family proud? Any advice? I think there's no real benefit in trying making somebody else proud. And it's because it is cool and it's a great feeling. And I think that is something that is amazing if it happens naturally, but it shouldn't lead to any decisions in your life. Because it's the same, like you just try to please somebody else. But let's say you don't want to do it, or let's say you it's hard for you, right? Like there is no reason for it. The only thing you should do is you should make yourself proud. And as egotistic that maybe sounds, but you have to be the best possible version of yourself to be helpful for others and be also somebody who supports maybe others, especially in your family, If your life is all messed up and fucked up and you don't know what to do and like everything you touch is like a freaking mess and you just don't know where your head is, how can you be helpful to somebody? I mean, like really helpful. And sometimes like you don't even have to do something for them. You just kind of like somebody who walks forward, doing your thing, that can be already a help for others. That can motivate your friends. That can be like so big. So yeah, I would say. But do you recommend punching people who critics? Yeah, tried it in the past. The problem is you don't feel better afterwards. So yeah, don't really recommend it. Like they said, to draw something happy, I was drawing my interest that time. Yeah, continue doing that. I mean, you can probably draw a lot in jail. I'm always asking myself, like, what type of medium do you have in jail for drawing? If it's because a pen could be a weapon, right? I recommend to tell them to shove it. To shovel. I think she meant something else. That's fine. Makes sense. Yeah, I only draw now to make my skills better. Currently, box rotation learning from Broken Draw primarily. Yeah, it's good. Good. Like fundamental work is good. Hey Banjiro Masati 4907. Welcome to stream. Copying other people drawing is bad for your art training. Just do it for fun. I study anatomy and forms at the same time. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would say that studying from others is the way how it's always working, right? Yeah, it's like Dylan is right. It's and welcome Dylan to the stream. It's I mean, the question is also, when is it really bad, right? Because any study, any practice is kind of good. The thing is that people mostly talk about is that you want to avoid to become a copy of a certain style, certain things. Because when you look at somebody's work and you kind of like copying what they're doing, you're copying their intentions without really understanding what their intentions are. Or if you copy their decision making without really understanding how they decide making certain things. But it also depends where you start and where you end up with it. I think it is really important first to understand how you learn and progress by yourself. How do you as a person learn stuff the best way? Is it really by grinding? Is it by repetition? I mean, mostly it's always about repetition because we all need repetition, but the question is how you approach that. And also, like, how much information can you really take in? How much can you get out? And how do you produce a healthy amount of work in a specific time? Because you see these, like, what Bert just mentioned, he studied from, what's his name, Broken Draw, for example, primarily. So all the fundamental work is great in the beginning. It's really good. The problem is there always comes a point where you need to take the jump, you know, the leap of faith, which is trying to make your own work or trying to produce some work, because it's literally just sharpening your axe every day without chopping any wood. And this is where frustration come into the circle, because people feel like it's an endless grind because they endlessly grind without really progressing. So that's why you need to make a specific plan, a specific schedule for your progress, because progress only comes through a combination of it. Yeah. Bad is subjective, absolutely. Yeah, fun is good. You know, like, and the thing is also when people, like a lot of talented, amazing people who got really well known started with just copying manga artists or just drawing manga style. You know, so if you never know where it's end, and if it starts by copying, why not? You know, like you never know where the journey is going. So yeah, if you feel like copying Kim Yoon-ji, do it. You will probably learn a lot. The question is like, when do you stop? But it's also not easy. Yeah, right? Like, think about how many people copy Dragon Ball Z characters. And they literally said afterwards, I can do that, you know? So that inspired him to be an artist. I think Anthony, oh, damn it. The Robo Pencil, what's his name? Is it Anthony Jones or Anthony? No, Anthony Joshua is the boxer, right? Anthony Jones. It's Jones, right? I think he literally said that. Never watched DBZ? That's fine. Sometimes people ask me what they should study when starting to get into art. I used to tell them about light and form. I think it's wrong. I tell them it's just things that are fun. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Regerux Roda. Hey, these names. I love these names. How people come up with these names. Welcome to the stream. That's awesome. And I hope that's I hope that's a cinnamon. That's not your real name. I don't want to insult anyone. And thanks for the sub. Anthony Jones. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rebel. There are a lot of artists who draw like Mobius still doing great. And yeah, and also if you think about Mobius, for example, he literally influenced like thousands of people who became professionals. Like you can literally see it in their work still to this day. And his peak was in the 70s, right? 50 years ago. And people still look at it and like, oh my God, it's timeless. It's beautiful. Yeah, art needs to be fun. Absolutely. A random Japanese woman gave me... Yeah, you told me that story. Where he bought a couple art books and literally copied the drawings and study. Yeah, he's so chill, man. He's so chill. True, half of the 80s art is inspired by Mobius. I think even like 90s also. And still today, like... I mean, it's kind of like how we evolve. Like that's also so interesting. Like when people talk these days about what's the best way of learning, right? I think there is no really best way of learning. Like I'm doing mentorships, right? So I literally teach people one-on-one, and for 95% or 90% of the people who come in, it works. And there's always a certain amount of people where it doesn't work for them, because I can give them assignments, but if they don't do the assignments, I can't help them, right? Because I need them to fail and fail fast so I can show them how to make it. I want them to fail, right? But if I give them assignments and they do nothing, then I can't really help them. And even if we try to focus their habits or routines in order to create more work, it works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's just how this is, you know? And then there are people who take classes and it works for them to take classes. They can work on by themselves without having real feedback. So and when you think about back in the day, like Da Vinci, Michelangelo, like all these amazing artists, they always went to an atelier or to the place where the best artists were, and they would study under them. They literally would do what they tell them. They would literally copy them. So then where is the debate, like, of what is good and what's not good? Like, people are so individual. Like, everyone is so special. Everyone learns so specific. So it's the same thing, right? Like, when is copying other artists bad and when not? Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the person. It depends on the person. And it also depends on life circumstances. You know, like I can't tell you how many situations I had where, like, art was great, but life circumstances were just shitty. So yeah, what do you want to do? Like, if you can't focus on art because of your life, like, yeah. You need to do things that are challenging you, but also, like Dylan said, it needs to be fun. So you can't always, like, whip yourself on the back. You also need to do stuff that's fun for you and that keeps you going. Like, if you in the back of the class and you just think about a cool story, or you think about an idea, or you think about a cool character and you just draw it out, you just have fun. Like, this is the way you need to approach it. I think, like, the most successful people with the best careers, they had the biggest longevity in their creative flow because they just focus on things they loved doing. He bought his assistants. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's kind of like another thing, right? Artists collaborated a lot back in the old days with masters. Yeah. Yeah. That. I start copying you ought to study. I expect it doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all. And when but I please don't come back to me if you feel like it turned out bad because you studied me. Don't come back to me. But it's funny that you say that because like when I look at this, I feel like, oh, everything's horrible. Like how can you study that? Imagining a bodybuilder thought like that, they will stay at 150 bench press because they do it so well and never increase the weight. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I think like this observation also always goes with your skill, because if in the beginning you look at a painter and you kind of like flashed at everything, 2 years later, 3 years later, when you already try to paint a lot, you really look at different things, completely different, and you also analyze completely different, which is so interesting. Thank God, not a bodybuilder. Hey, but being a bodybuilder, I think, is not that bad. You just train and eat every day. Like, it's as good as simple as it sounds. I guess dieting is the worst, and probably medication. Was geht, Pablo? Was geht? Wie war deine Woche? Alles gut bei dir? Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Dylan. It's really evolving. I wonder if my art book is still coming today. I finished the printing, and the first print of the book should come today, actually, with FedEx, but it still did not arrive yet. Oh. Deine Woche war richtig gut, geil. Wieso, was hast du gemacht? Hast du noch Schule oder ist Schule bald vorbei? Ist doch irgendwann Ferien, wann gehen Ferien los? 19. oder so? When gesture drawing, do you have a thumbnail in your head or just draw what you decide then? Mi no hablo español. Sorry. Nächste Woche sind Ferien, geil. To answer the gesture question, basically, I tell you secrets about gestures, right? So, wait, let me just grab this. Yo. So gesture, just let's very quickly, right? Gesture is made out of CSI. The hardest part about gesture is being stupidly strict with using only C-curve line, S-curve line, and straight lines. And I'll give you an example of making shapes, right? There's a difference if I try to make the same shape and I create a shape like this, right? And I create the same shape like this. The difference of these two, this looks more like a wet noodle compared to this. Why? Because this has clarity. Why does it has clarity? Because of clear decision making of choosing a straight line and a curved line, right? So that is the power of gesture. The power of gesture is simplifying. If I draw an arm or a back or a person or whatever, and I start to do this here, everyone sees that this is hesitation, this is not knowing, this is uncertainty, this is not being sure. But what we want to do, we want to be this, right? So my advice to you is when you try to draw a gesture, fail with confidence. Oh, now I have to write confidence. No. Confidence. I hope it's correct. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, draw a gesture with confidence, because then it doesn't really matter at some point, because if you draw then a figure or any type of pose, you want to simplify that, whatever it is that you try to do. If I decide to draw an arm straight, getting a leg out, like doing things like this is clear decision making. And that's what is really the power of gesture. Okay? Hope that answers your question. That is true. I definitely speak better Spanish than Portuguese, but I would say it's probably the same level. Not there. funny. I like I mentioned before, I didn't want to draw the whole week. I'm so glad that we stream. I'm so glad already that I streamed today. It's just you guys make me draw. You do it so wrong, it's even cute. Bom dia. Tudo bem. That's it. You don't need more. You know, I was literally traveling through Mozambique only with this. Do you folks get any ads, by the way? Because I turned it off this time. And I hope you do not get any ads. If still, I still need to fix it, so just let me know. Probably the poor Mozambicans thought you were only grunting. Yeah, probably. I mean, I laughed it off, you know, like when it was clear nobody understands me, I was just like laughing. Hey, I even came through police controls with this, you know. I'm just played a clueless German. So far no ads. Good. Yeah, turn it off. Turn it off. It just makes no sense. Do you ever do watercolors? Yes, I do watercolors. I do. Do you ever do watercolors, Dylan? More watercolors do him. Yeah, that's true. She's right. I do them right now. Just bought a traveling set. Nice. What brand? You're playing with it? Nice. That's good. Oh yeah. I don't know. Do I have any watercolor here? Anything done? I wanted to draw this here, but I wanted to finish this page. I mean, it's not really successful, but yeah, I actually wanted to finish this whole page. It's relatively big, actually, but it's just laying around here. So but I also like to do it in a sketchbook. Do the watercolors play with Janosch? Yeah, sometimes they do. It's always weird to speak about myself in the third person, like a proper narcissist. Okay, I'm gonna quickly grab some water. Be right back in a second. Please entertain yourself for 2 minutes. Be right back. Winsor and Newton on AliExpress. Oh, nice. $9 Canadian is a really solid price. Good job. Yeah, be right back. Just 2 minutes. I'm back. What did I miss? Try the watercolor something. Forgot my ink was not waterproof. Yeah, that's unfortunate. No, we can diss him. You know that's also the thing. Like they in Rio when they produce them, they are not really expensive to produce. It's really the brand name you pay for, right? So. Lol. I'm actually taking my hoodie. It's kind of cold. Yeah, it's the packaging, but it's also really the brand name, you know. And also the demand is really controlling. I think, Ned, I think there's probably way better methods to launder money than art supplies. Can't imagine that there's like a big margin in it. Interesting topic, folks. Interesting topic. Mm, 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 mm. What kind of pen is that? Dylan, you just banned from the stream. It's a fountain pen. It's a fountain pen. Thank you, Janusz, for the inspiring spotting the other day. Also for the information, what you did to become a better artist. I'm attempting to do more observation drawings. That is nice, and I'm happy that you're here. Welcome to the stream. Are you a fountain pen guy? I just became one, I would say. Yeah, I started to watch an anime called Ace Diamond or Diamond of Ace. It's a anime about baseball, and I've never was interested in the sport since that. So I'm still first season watching it. That's the reason why I draw baseball people today. Yeah, the thing is, drawing American football people, they all have paddings on, and it's kind of boring, to be honest. I've done that a lot. Yeah, pitchers have really nice poses. I just love how the arms are bending and stuff when they throw. If I'm an American and you're using football, I'm assuming you're thinking in the improper context. No, I used to play American football, actually. I used to play defensive end, outside linebacker, and when I was really heavy, I even played nose tackle. Even though that was kind of like the weirdest, worst game ever I played. Also, with my weight now, I think I'm more of a light outside linebacker. I think I'm even too light to play outside linebacker anymore. Probably more of a receiver with only 225 pounds. Yes, I watch anime. Do you? Yeah, it's for me. It's like I can just chill when I watch anime. I don't know. The last comic I read about was 100 Bullets. Yeah, more of a kicker these days. Even though the thing is, I can't kick. I can't really kick. The reason why I played football were two reasons. The first one, I was too bad for soccer. Second reason, I was a little chubby fat kid, and somebody said they would do a barbecue after practice. And I went to the club and they actually had barbecue after practice. And they said, yeah, they have it almost every time. And they actually scammed me because then we only had barbecue on game days. But that's how I ended up playing football for 12 years. I'm 6'3.5", if that's correct, I think. Where I come from, we say you can't trust someone who plays football with an oval ball. Well, did anyone play baseball here? How is it? I want to know. Is it actually that hard to throw the ball that good and also to hit the ball? In normal units. Hey, stop insulting people who don't have the same units than you. In 1 meter 92, I think, if that's correct, centimeters. I used to watch so much middle school, picked up my interest in perspective. You broke your hand trying to play baseball? But while how like catching the ball? Or how did you broke it? Back in elementary, we played a few times, and I absolutely loved baseball. Hit each other on the chin so much. The baseball hit my hand instead of the bat. Oh. So it is actually not so safe, as I understand. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Makes it even more interesting. Oh, Nat, you always have the best intentions. Always paved with good intentions, yeah. Have you watched the Chainsaw Man Reese arc? No, I haven't yet. Where can I watch it? It wasn't available on any platforms that I use. Is it? It must be good. A lot of people were talking about it. It's available on Crunchyroll? Ooh. Damn. Okay, I gotta go. Stream is over. Why don't you watch Dandadan? It's the only what? I watched Dandadan. What are you talking about? Watch the whole thing. Okay. Well, I guess that's what you get for $9 Canadian, right? You should watch this baseball anime called 1 Out. It's baseball, but they play it like 4D chess. Nice. Okay, noted. No, I watched it. I watched it. Dandadan was amazing, especially I think for ADHD people. Did any one of you watched back in the day Kill la Kill? It reminded me from the tempo, from the pace a little bit of Kill la Kill. He's charging a powerful attack. The Brazilian dub is out of this world. Hey, I can imagine. I have problems with the German dub of everything, so I always watch it in Japanese. With your mentoring students, did you ever have one where you thought, damn, you're so good, why are you getting mentored by me? To be honest, no. No. And the funny thing is, like, I also mentored people who already professionals or people who just entered the industry. So I think if you really look for it, there's always room for improvement for everyone. So do you have a favorite time period for anime production? That's a really good question. Since I'm a 90s kid, I would say everything around 80s, 90s, I'm a big fan of. But I also kind of like older ones, but I also like the newer ones in a way. Especially when they kind of like feel fresh, you know? So art style wise, definitely like Vampire Hunter D, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, but both also in pacing as well. Yeah, like Kill la Kill was also cool, but that was a bit earlier. Let me think. Mob Psycho, for example. I liked Mob Psycho. Wait, let me think. For example, also Haikyuu was really cool. Obviously, iShield 21 because of football. Kuroko no Mi Basketball or something. I forgot what the name was. This one. But also the anime of the movie from the one that Inoue Takehiro made. I forgot. Slam Dunk. Yeah. Darker Than Black, for example, was really good in terms of world building. I think was probably one of the most interesting in terms of world building. Full Metal Alchemist, of course, was peak. Brotherhood was peak. I mean, there were a lot of ones that are really funny. Also, the thing is, for example, I like Blue Lock also. I really like Blue Lock, even though that second season went a bit down in terms of animation. How about you? Yeah, the thing is, like, it's really about the second Dylan. It's really about the, like, I think also what people really don't sometimes misunderstand when it comes to the program itself, the mentoring, is that of course we have one main call in a month, but they literally, I write with them every single day with the students, and they send me work every single day. And every day I give them feedback, you know, either written, I paint over it, I make a video, we jump into a call. Like, this is like full on one-on-one. And it's like, I'm literally like the personal art trainer in a way. So when somebody comes, regardless the skill set, there's always a room to improve. And there's always something which you can work on. But no, to answer your question, I never thought that so far. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is iconic. The thing is also, I never finished Death Note. I started Death Note, but I never finished it. Never finished it. Never. It's always so weird when I see the streaming of the drawing, or when I see it on camera, even when it's recorded. The drawing in real looks much better than on camera. I feel like on camera they look not good. But I guess that's when you translate a medium. What I find always funny in anime is, or when you have any type of stories, where kind of like a side character or a villain is kind of like the coolest character in the whole story. If you just think about Jujutsu, and you think about what's his name? I was thinking, the Zenin guy. That, like, if you think about it, he's kind of like the coolest character in the whole scene. And in the whole manga. Hiromu Arakawa did some solid illustrations, playing on getting the art book for this Christmas. Cool. I would check it out. Wait, let me write it down. Hiromu Arakawa. Thanks for sharing. Oh, okay. So, schedule-wise, we will definitely have a stream next week on Friday. Even though the whole week is very full. I have mentorship students all over the place, but I will make it possible. So we will have stream next week, of course. And then the week after, when Christmas is, we won't have a stream because I'm with my family. And this is probably a week where we don't have a stream. But then I intend to have another one in the week after. So in the week of New Year's Eve. So yeah, stream was relatively short today, but we drew a lot, and I'm happy that we at least drew like 2 pages in a way, even though it's kind of big of a mix. But I'm glad that I streamed, because I didn't feel like drawing all week. So thank you everyone for it. Also, big shout out to everyone who just subbed. And also everyone who's been there supporting since the get-go, because we reached 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is amazing. Never thought that would going to happen. I really appreciate you all, and also I really appreciate all of you coming to the streams. My goal for 2026 is definitely to have a consistency in these streams, because I feel like that's really the best time for me to have an interaction with all of you, and I would love to keep this continued. Yeah. Other than that, if you haven't pressed the like button under this stream, please do that. Da will man einmal mit Tusche malen, da läuft das ganze Wasser um. Geil. Damn. Das tut mir leid, Pablo. Aber ist mir auch schon passiert. So, again, we going to have a stream next week on Friday, as scheduled. If there's any unscheduled stream, obviously I will post it on Instagram. And yeah, I'm always begging for the like, you know. Always. I hope you all could have a good time, and I appreciate the conversations, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and yeah, talk to you soon, everyone. Have a good one.